Hello, welcome
I
back.
hope this is better. I'm so sorry. Ah, but anyway, you know, like people always say, like, oh, you should find references, and then
Yep.
you look at Pinterest, and then you look at Google or other illustration books. And for example, oh, I want to draw a mermaid. You already have this impression of what a mermaid should look like.
Yeah.
And I think when I asked you, like, how do we make our illustrations more distinct? How do we have style? Um, at that time, I didn't realize that it's nothing to do with um, the technique, but more like with our knowledge, right?
Yeah. True.
So, um, but I think the technique also lends itself into art making because you also mentioned like, oh, go back to your basic, and I was like, oh, what do you mean? And you're like, oh, if you start learning with oil painting, then try to apply it to your digital work. So how do you use that mindset in terms of your paper engineering and um, and your digital illustration?
Hmm? Sorry. Sorry,
So
I
how do
cannot hear
you?
you clearly.
Oh no, no. So how do you apply your paper engineer knowledge to your digital illustration?
Okay. So, yeah, like, I remember, like, maybe 6 years ago, like before, because, like, sorry, 6 years ago, like when I was still in Bandung, so I
Mm-hmm.
met like one famous concept artist from Australia. Like he is really good at it, and when I asked like his advice for me to find my style, like
Mm-hmm.
he said like, oh yeah, like, but you have the paper cutting skill, which is really unique. That's what I got. Like I don't remember exactly what was the word, but it's kind of motivate me to try to do, like, make my digital illustration more unique,
Mm-hmm.
because I see like digital illustration is almost look the same like everywhere, So I just try to make my illustration more unique. Like before, when I was in college, I also try to develop like the digital watercolor,
Yeah.
because I feel also like digital illustration always look like, like at that time around 2000, early 2000, you always see like digital illustration looks like plastic. Can
Oh
I
yeah.
say that? Like
Yeah,
the
like the polished,
yeah the
soft, and then
yeah, the
reggie.
polish is
Yeah,
always glossy. It's always smooth,
that's true. Yeah.
and but nowadays it's like super super cool. Like you can buy a lot of brush that inspired by watercolor. You can make like a lot of illustration that looks almost like watercolor, right? But back
Yeah.
then it was just like a round brush with, like you just put a feather on it, you just drop down the opacity a bit, so everything looks kind of the same,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so
So.
I just try to make myself more unique because of that.
Mhm.
And yeah, like when like my artistic hero said like, yeah, but you got like a skill in paper cutting, so why not do it? So okay, why not?
Oh, that's great. So, like, when you say that you try to make yourself unique, right?
Yeah,
I think for me, when I first started digital illustration,
yeah.
uh, I felt that like, oh, how are people so good? How do they like find this technique? And so, did you have a mindset that like, oh, I have this paper cut skill?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do you have a trick on how you apply it, or do you have a more like an advice on like how do you look back at your pre-existing skills and how do you apply it to your digital illustration?
Oh, I think I share it like before, like, when I make like that kind of illustration. I'm not using brush to make the
Mm.
effect. So let me show you something cool. This is the technique that I found pretty useful. Uh, let's say you have like this flat square, right? This is super flat square, right? So
Yeah.
how to make it like into looks like paper? You just put like a shadow on it, right?
Yeah.
So how do I make a shadow? I just like use a lasso tool like this, or even better, you can use like a polygonal lasso tool like this, right? And I'm using burn tool.
Oh.
So I just try to make like it look like,
Oh. Yeah. It looks like a crease.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So when I turn off the selection tool, I can do it like this.
Okay.
So it's even deeper, you know, address and stuff.
Um,
Yeah, and also really cool because like you can also add the highlight a bit. Like let's say you just adding a lighter color on it. So you just put ages. So yeah.
oh. I'm just like processing like for me it's like um you always learn the tools, right? Like like all the burn tools and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I'm more of like on the lazier side of being a technique learner.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the difficult part for me is like understanding the tools and like I know like I like watercolor for example, or I know I like pen and ink, but then when I use Photoshop, there's so many functions that I could do that I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do just like everyone else. But I guess what people don't realize is that when someone has very unique work, it usually is not just like, oh, I accidentally stumble upon this art style. Like one day I wake up in the morning and then I just can do it. I guess like it's a lot of experimenting and practicing behind it, right?
Yeah, but you know what's interesting is like I don't really understand uh this kind of stuff, you know. The layer mode. I
Yeah.
never really understand this kind of stuff before I move here. So basically
Oh, because
when my art director teach me about like, oh yeah, you can use this kind of stuff to make your shadow more cooler. You can adjust the color and stuff like, whoa, that's a magic. Because
I
usually
know.
I just do this kind of stuff within the single layer. So like this
Yeah.
one, I just paint it in the single layer now. So this is the color
And I
and this is the outline, and that's it.
and I think you can do it because you already have a strong basic. You know, I feel like when I first started, I used a lot of layers because I wasn't sure of like the colors. I wasn't sure of like uh, so I used a lot of like layers, and then I just changed the hue and saturation, and then I tried to change the multiply just to make the color look nice without like realizing why it looks nice. But the more I learn the basic, the easier it is for me to not rely so much on the layer style and everything. But I guess that's because you start working for studio, right? Like they also have a lot of like adjustments for the clients and all that.
Yeah, like for me, like technology is like can help you like achieve some kind faster, but
Hmm.
it should not define like how you work, you know.
Yeah,
Like for me, because I was start from watercolor and next I moved to paper cutting. So in painting, in coloring, like my style is look like watercolor.
right.
So let's say like now I just try to put like some highlight into the skin. I just try to move my hand like lighter, you know. So I
Yeah,
just make like a very light color on top of it. So yeah, it's not like watercolor. Like I just realized like my hand moved like I was painting with watercolor,
Yeah.
and I just like this kind of happy accident. Like as you can see, like this is some kind of
Bubbles
different
floating around.
color, right? Yeah, I just try to pick like this stuff, and I just like moving around
Right.
and stuff. Oh yeah, and also I always make like this kind of mood board stuff. So I just
Mm,
collect like every single image that I can use as a reference for that kind of illustration. Yeah, this is
yeah.
from the previous mermaid series. Like this is a dolphin, so I just try to get the photos right, like the shape and the color and everything. And also the interesting part that I really love is this kind of flower.
Mm.
It got some kind of layer and stuff, so I can use it as a reference if I want to make like a layering of the hair and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because sometimes when that's actually really interesting. Uh, because sometimes when I look for reference, I stop using a lot of references because I feel that I'm affected by it too much. But I think it's also because of the kind of reference that I use. Like for example, um, like what you said, like making hair, and then I would find like pictures of hair. But what you're doing now is like, for the hair, you're referencing another object, a different thing that you can interpret as hair. So I think that's a really smart way of using references. When um, when I was still a student, right, I came to you asking a
Yeah.
lot of questions. And I feel like uh, sometimes now when I'm working, I'm still hearing some of your advices, and
Ooh.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. I should remember that. But do you have imagine if you can turn back time, right? And then you just graduated again now. What is the one thing that you feel you would have done instead of what you've done before?
Wow, that's a
Or
very weird
uh,
question.
but but I guess like something that's like if you graduated now in this like day of age with all the uh, you graduated but back then you said when Photoshop was just like very plasticky look. But if
Yeah.
you graduated now, uh, what's the one thing that you think every young artist should take advantage of?
Okay. It might be contradict with like anything for now, but
Yeah,
because like the digital media is such very nice now, like you can do 3D, you can do like uh super nice illustration like in very fast time, right?
yeah,
Like you always feel you can create something super good, super fast, like super nice. But
yeah.
for me, if I graduated now, I would like to learn traditional stuff again.
Mm,
Like I want to learn like oil painting. I want to learn like uh, watercolor again.
yeah.
Because like for me, it's like
Actually,
pretty important if you have
yeah,
like this kind of knowledge. Like let's say like the technology is like really advanced right now. Like it's really cool. Like you can do a lot of great stuff. But if you don't know the basic, you will feel you can feel like the illustration is just like dimensional.
yeah.
I don't know how to explain it basically,
No,
but you
no,
know what I mean,
I
right?
actually agree because back in college, right,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we have to do a lot of traditional art like oil painting, watercolor, pen and ink, and I did a lot of that. I never learned digital before, but then when I start moving to digital work, it became very easy for me because I know exactly like like when you work digitally, you have endless possibilities, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But because I only know this traditional work, I know that like okay, let me try doing something that is similar um, to my traditional background. But
Yes.
now that I'm working for clients that I'm using digital all the time, it starts to feel like I'm cheating. Like, oh, with digital, I can just do this. I can just do that. Why did I like do it the way I used to do it? But in the end, it loses the nuances of all this traditional work that you've been building.
Yeah, and like
So it kind of goes back to that plastic look that you were talking about.
yeah, and also it gives you more identity, like if you
Yes,
start
yes,
from watercolor, let's say, like your choice of color, your choice of like how the color blending will be different,
yeah,
right? So it will give you like a nice niche, nice touch on your illustration.
yeah. So,
Oh,
last time you mentioned, right, that you wanted to move because you wanted a fresh like environment so that you can kind of like unstuck your. You want to try different things as an artist, and how's that been working? Or because Corona, everything is just kind of like.
haha. Yeah, because of the corona, like I cannot travel, like that sucks.
But do you think like your living situation affects your art making a lot, or it's separate between your professional artwork and your personal artwork?
um I don't know, but like for me, like I was a freelancer for about 10 years before,
Hmm.
and suddenly working full time here, and now I need to work from home again. So I think because it's been 10 years before, so I feel okay, like I feel more productive now, basically.
Working from home.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, like it's productive. Like I know, like every day I do stuff, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's not only artwork,
Hmm.
right? So
What do you
sometimes I
mean?
just
Like,
I just like cooking and stuff,
uh,
like because like I'm from Indonesia and moved to here, like you cannot find a lot of Asian cuisine here, so I just try to learn to cook like Asian food and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so I think I'm more productive. Yeah, but it's
Oh,
not. It's not for.
on
Yeah.
on the whole, like being productive thing. Um, I feel that like in different ways, what affects me the most is not like the culture or um, the when you think of like moving to a new place, you always feel like, oh, like now you'll be looking at new buildings, you'll be talking to new people, and then you will start drawing different things. But I think that lifestyle that you were talking about, like being more productive, but in the sense that like you start cooking instead of just doing art all day.
Yeah.
Um, so for you, right? Um, do you think that it's important for someone to have a distinction between their professional and their personal work? You know, because you also have like a distinction between like your merchandising stuff, and then if you do something for your studio, it will be whatever else that the studio needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't know how to answer that. Basically, do you think like can do a lot of different artwork help me a lot? Like I don't know. Like sometimes it's feel weird, like when back in Indonesia before I was working for National Geographic, and I also working for the game company. Like in
Mhm.
one day, like I can do the artwork for National Geographic in the morning till the noon, and like after that I do change my style into different kind, like
Yeah.
creating a character. Right? It's totally different thing. Like in the morning I need to draw an orangutan, very realistic, right? And at the
Yeah.
night I need to draw, like, let's say I need to draw a monsters. It's totally different
So I
stuff.
guess
Like
yeah, that's true. Like the reason why I'm asking is because I used to want to do work that's like the style that I love doing, or the things that I love doing in my sketchbook. But then now that um, I've gotten hired to do those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
um, I start developing like okay, this is my work style because I can do it quickly.
Hey, like you are disconnecting few times.
Yeah, I know. I'm back now. I'm back.
Okay.
So I was saying like
Um.
when when I
Okay.
want to
Like
play.
when yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Okay. When I told you before, like before I was working like for two different style in one day, right? It
Yeah,
seems pretty exhausting. Like for other people, when they see it, like how can you do it? Like it's super exhausting. Like,
yeah.
but for me, it's pretty fun. Like
Mm,
you can do something like very realistic and in the noon, and after you bored with that, you can exchange your style into something else, and it just make
yeah.
you more, have more variety in your style.
No, yeah, yeah. I actually completely agree with that because at first I wanted to just like, oh, if I can just do this one thing for the rest of my life, I'll be super happy.
Yeah.
But then you actually get bored really fast.
Yeah, like people, I think every people have their own preferences for this kind of stuff. Like some
Yeah,
people really really like to do only one thing for his whole life, and the others love to do another thing.
yeah.
And I think I'm into the second group of the people that love to do a lot of stuff in their life.
Now, like for those kind of people, right?
Yeah.
Especially now that people start hiring more from social media,
Yeah.
um, like people with consistent art style and consistent look, they
Yeah.
get noticed easier because of the algorithms and everything.
Yeah.
So for people like us who explore different things, how would you say is a good way in like presenting your work or getting noticed or branding yourself?
Okay, that's a very tricky question as well, because like from my experience now, like my Instagram is really cluttered with ton of different stuff. Like I think it is
Right?
not effective for me on my Instagram. Sometimes I post my Pokemon artwork, sometimes I post my game artwork. Which is the latest one? I repost it from Folder, right? So I
Yeah.
do the marketing illustration, and the style is totally different with the rest of my Instagram.
No, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Because like
Like
I
yeah,
asked you
like I
this
think I think
before.
it's not effective, but I'm thinking now I want to make my own website,
Yeah.
because like in website you can like make a section, like I can do like the section for my personal artwork, my client work and stuff.
Yeah, so like I asked you this before, and but back then we were talking about website, and website. Now I think about it, it's pretty easy to manage, right? You can have like right now I have like my book covers and editorial stuff, and those are two different stuff.
Yeah.
But on Instagram you cannot section them, and one thing that I asked my agent. So this is to answer like Misa Inks. How do you present it to your audience, say on Instagram? Does it confuse them? Um,
Yeah.
if you already have an audience, I feel that like as long as you do what you like and you're genuine in what you post, people will still appreciate it. And like it doesn't have to reach like 50,000 people. It can just reach like 200, 300 people. But like if those people are like loyal and those people are like they're really interested in your work, it will spread. Um, but then also my agent was mentioning that like, oh, Instagram is now where people look for talent, and website is where people look for credibility. So like you
Oh,
can post a lot of things on Instagram and you have a lot of likes, but then on your website you show that like you're not that professional. It might just attract different kind of clients. You know what I mean? Like maybe you can be like a content creator, but not like a illustrator for hire.
yeah, yeah. That's a
And
good point as well. Yeah.
and I think what I learned, right, since talking to you about like, oh, I have like so many different styles. How do I
Mhm.
keep them like cohesive with one another? I
Yep.
started just doing more artwork because then let's say when you make like 100 artworks, at least like 10 will be similar or like 15 will be similar, and then you can group them together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's also a really interesting stuff. Like back in my college before, like one of my lecturers said that if you want to know like your personal style, like you need to compile every work that you have done before. You put it in one table. You just put everything in your one table, and you need to find like what the similarities between every single artwork that you done.
Uh,
So
so kind
that's
of
a
like
pretty
that too,
interesting thing because he said that your style is not defined by like overall looks, but sometimes it's defined by like minor thing. Like you always do this kind of shape, you always use this kind of color, you always use this kind of combination. So that's defining you.
yeah,
Like
yeah. That's
for me like my style is like look pretty clustered, right? Like I have like a very realistic for National Geographic. I got like very cartoony style like this. But the thing that people always say really consistent about my artwork is my color, my choice of color.
yeah. I
So
agree.
after I realized that, then yeah, I just try to explore my illustration into color. you know
Yeah, I agree
that's a good
because
that's a good thing.
yeah, that's a really good point because I stopped getting hired for like my style,
Hmm.
but I start getting hired for like the topic that I talk about. You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
I always talk about something emotional, something that's like a little more personal, something that's sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, since now it's already around 9:10, right? 9:11. I have
No. Yeah. Oh no, no, it's
um
10, 10, 11 here.
yeah, 10:11 for you. 9:11 for you. So uh, I have one question that um I always like to ask. It's like, what do you think something outside other than not what, but let me phrase the question. So outside creating artwork, outside just practicing drawing or practicing illustrations,
Hmm.
what do you think can help an artist to improve themselves?
Okay. Like for me, the most important thing, like you need to travel. Like you need to see like how color different in every city, how like
Yeah,
light is different in every country, how shape is defining like one country, one city. Let's say like when I move here
yeah,
in Quebec, like the shadow color is different compared to my home
yeah.
country. Like do you realize that,
Ours
right?
is gray.
Yeah, right, like
Ours is
everything.
gray and brown.
Yeah, everything, it looks different.
Yeah,
Like
that's a good point.
yeah, like you need to travel because like sometimes when you travel and you see like the ordinary thing that you always see in your life, now it's look different you know
Yeah, that's true.
you get
And
you
when
get
you
a new.
start drawing, it will be different too, right?
Yeah, you will get a new perspective about new stuff. Like let's say for me the sky is different, like the shadow is different.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
color is different. So yeah.
So like when you watch anime, they have like a certain color palette, right?
Yeah,
And then when you go to Japan, you realize like, oh, this is why they have this color.
yeah,
And then you
true.
watch like superhero movies, and then you go to America, and you're like, oh, okay, I see why the colors like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, like even like the simplest thing, like light is different, you know.
Yeah, yeah. The light is that is one thing that really blew my mind because like the blue sky is so different
Yeah,
here in Japan, in US, in Singapore. Singapore and Indonesia were only like a few meters apart, but the sky is so different.
yeah, true, true.
Okay, let's answer two questions from comments, and then one last question, and then maybe we should call it a night for you, a day for me.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so from Dexy or Dixie, um, would you recommend iPad or Wacom? Me personally, I would recommend whatever works better for yourself because I like drawing. I think iPad is nicer for drawing than painting for me personally.
Yeah, for me personally, like I used to use Wacom and Photoshop. Like I don't know, like I never try iPad before. Like I don't know um how iPad works basically.
It
But like
it just doesn't have the same feeling.
okay, but like if you really comfortable with one tool and then stick to it, you know,
Yeah,
that's it. That's for my opinion.
I agree. Okay, second question. I think we talked about this, but this is in Indonesia. Uh, it
Sure.
consists to like how do you focus into creating art style that is suitable for yourself. So I will answer in bahasa
Oh,
for
okay,
you.
sure.
Like ya yeah. Kayaknya kalau uh, cari biar fokus bikin gaya gambar yang sesuai dengan kita. Sebenarnya harusnya gaya gambar ya pasti sesuai dengan kalian. Jadi ya maksudnya itu kan udah sesuatu yang kalian lakuin secara natural. Kalau kalian harus maksain gaya gambar kayak gitu, ya mending gak usah daripada setiap kali kerja harus maksain gitu. Ya nggak sih?
Hmm,
Kecuali
kalau
kalau
gua
emang tuntutan pekerjaan.
ya dan lagi butuh gitu, ya bolehlah
Ya,
gitu diambil
ya,
kerjaannya ya gitu.
ya,
Eh, Ya kalau kalau gue bilang sih kalau emang lo dapat kerjaan yang bikin lo nggak nyaman, ya mending mending jangan dikerjain.
ya,
Kecuali
ya,
butuh banget. Kalau
ya,
itu udah mau nggak mau dikerjain, betul nggak?
betul sih.
Kadang-kadang
Ya,
gitu aja
kayaknya kalau
sih.
kayak yang lu bilang gaya gambar sih jangan dicari, diterima aja kan.
Iya ditemukan. Jadi beda beda kan ya, dicari sama ditemukan tuh beda. Kalau dicari
Iya,
kan
iya.
kita berusaha mencari gitu. Kita berusaha melakukan sesuatu untuk mendapatkan itu gitu kan. Sedangkan kalau
Iya,
ditemukan, kebayang nggak dari apa yang ada kita nemu gitu.
iya, iya, iya.
Beda kan?
Lebih natural ya, nggak maksa gitu.
Uh-uh. Dan di satu sisi lagi menemukan itu artinya lo sudah membuat sesuatu yang banyak, dari situ lo menemukan intinya dari itu gitu.
Hmm.
Jadi bukan
Oh, this is so
bukan bukan
interesting.
lo menggambar banyak-banyak untuk menemukan itu, tapi lo menggambar banyak dan akhirnya menemukan itu gitu.
Okay, so let me translate what he just said because it's really good. Basically, what he said is the question is like, how do you find your art style, something that is suitable for yourself? And he said like, that's true. Like, you're not supposed to search for an art style. You're supposed to find it. When you search for it, means like you're actively trying to search for something. But when you find it, it means like after doing so many things, after just keep repeating, after just like from your experience, you boil down the gist of it and you find the core, and that is found. So you're not like it's because you are actively searching for something, but because you kind of like got an enlightenment or like realization of something. Oh, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. My last question. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, what's the one thing that like you wish or not you wish that you want to share whenever you get interviewed, but usually you don't get asked?
I don't know. What?
Or something like a topic that like you feel that um, people should talk about in uh, in the art world, but people don't usually talk about it.
Okay. Um,
I take nothing as an answer.
yeah, I mean, like, it's really open question, basically.
Yeah, I'm putting you under the bus now.
Yeah, but I don't know. But for me, is being artist is just being fun.
Mm,
Like you can do anything that you like, and you get paid for it. I mean, like
yeah.
it's really cool. Like just remember that you are also a human being.
Yeah.
Like you need to rest. Like you need to do something like in your passion.
Mm,
Like let's say like now I'm painting something, but I just having fun. I just try to nail how the hair like wave, like the wave of the hair and stuff. Like it's just fun. Like just enjoy the process. I think it's really
yeah.
important.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean like it's very very cliche, right? Like everybody said about that, but it's true.
No, but yeah, I think it's true. Like, I think people who are doing really well as an artist are those who really enjoy what they're doing, not
Yeah.
just because they do it for a living.
And at some point, like let's say you just graduated, right? And you want to find a job, you want to find a work, you want to find like new colleague, new friend and stuff. Like you always talk about art, right?
Yeah,
You always talk about like, oh, like how do you achieve like this kind of color, how do you achieve this kind of shadow and stuff. But at some point after you pass that stuff, you will talk about your life. So basically when I
yeah,
meet another people now, like, yeah, we just talk about life. We don't talk anymore about art. And it makes your personality more interesting, basically.
no, yeah, I agree. I think one thing that I heard once that I can never forget is like, you cannot make an interesting artwork if you're not an interesting person.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
true.
just being interesting, just being human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so many laugh reacts at
Okay. Like,
that. But
haha.
it's true. If you're not an interesting person, how can you come up with something interesting?
Yeah, true, right?
Yeah.
And also
Well,
like like if you love something and you really like it and you just put it in your artwork, like people can feel it, you know.
mhm.
Like I like fish, I like animal, I like natural world. Like I love to draw fish, and when I draw fish, like I draw it with my heart, and I feel like it's really good, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I started like telling myself in senior year that I would learn more about clouds because I really like clouds,
Mm-hmm.
and I would put clouds in every illustration that I can because I just like like something that makes me happy to insert some of that into the work, right? And I have a
Yeah.
feeling that now, if I don't if I don't draw clouds on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram hides my post. And
Mm-hmm.
when people hire me for like a book cover or something, the story usually has something to do with like landscape, clouds, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually
And I don't know, like social media also like sometimes dictate like what do you need to do,
yeah,
and sometimes like you put like expectation on it. Like you make one artwork and you think it's super cool, like it's super good. When you post it on Instagram, you just got like few likes.
yeah.
But
But who cares, right?
for me personally, like it doesn't matter. Like you just share your work, and likes doesn't really represent like how people accept your work,
Yeah, I agree.
right? So yeah, just don't be sad if you got like fewer likes,
I
right?
agree. I think
just
what
just
matters more is like the art making process. If you enjoy it more, then that's what matters. It's not about like whether you get more likes or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can get
Yeah.
like thousands of likes and then you're like, oh man, I'm drawing this again. I'm drawing this again.
Yeah, but if you got
You get
two of it, like it's super cool. But well, like if you don't get it, don't be sad because you do
yeah,
the best that you can do at that time. You know.
that's true. Oh, I can't believe that's been almost like an hour. I was planning for this to be 30 minutes, but also my internet kept breaking down, so that's uh thanks for joining the live
Yeah, like
and showing us
if
the trick with the paper cut.
yeah, if there are any question or stuff, I will answer it. It's okay. No worries.
Yeah.
I know
So
I'm
if you
like now I'm in the mood for drawing. Like I cannot stop.
okay, then I guess we can just continue sketching, right?
Yeah, sure. Just continue it.
I don't mind.
Yeah, like if you have any question or stuff, just ask me right away, and I will happily to answer you.
Also, if you guys haven't already followed him yet, you should go to his Instagram account, follow him, and
Yes, guys, follow me.
yes,
Nah, just
plug,
kidding.
plug.
If you like my work, just follow me. If you don't like it, then yeah,
If
follow
you
me.
don't like it, follow him too. um, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun.
Sometimes, sometimes it's easier for me to work, especially when it's not the idea part, when it's just the drawing part, to
Yeah,
work while talking to people.
yeah. Like before, like I have like several friends that I always talk on Skype. You know, like we just open the Skype, and like they are working with their stuff, like I'm working with my stuff, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's just like your brain is not like getting distracted for doing other things. Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you're just drawing, and it's not like the part where you need a lot of brain power. When you're just like like just enjoying, just getting zen.
Mm,
Sometimes your brain starts traveling somewhere else.
yeah.
Like for me,
Yeah.
it's always like, oh, okay, let me check what's in the fridge. And I'll go there, and then 10 minutes later, what's in the fridge? 10 minutes later, what's in the fridge? It's always the same thing.
Yeah, like I met a lot of amazing people before on Facebook and also on Skype, and I still connect with them till now, which is pretty cool.
You can see the generational difference because you were like Facebook and Skype. Now it's like Instagram and Zoom.
No, now it's TikTok, right?
What app are you using? Enigma asks. I
Hmm?
use Procreate.
Pardon?
Someone asked what app are you using?
Ah, okay. I'm using Photoshop.
Photoshop.
I'm the old guy
I
now.
still use Photoshop too. I just one thing about Procreate that has helped me a lot is like it's more limited than Photoshop, right?
I
So
don't
I
know. I
start.
never use it.
It's really more limited. It doesn't have like all the burn tools. I mean, it has, but it's not as easy to use as Photoshop. But it makes me kind of work back like if I was using traditional because I'm like, okay, let me make my color pencil brush, and then let me make my watercolor brush, and then like let me try to incorporate them together without using like um, Photoshop tricks.
Oh, okay.
At
Like
least for me.
it's limited, but it's make you more creative, right? In
Yeah.
approach. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah, I would like to get an iPad Pro as well.
I heard they're coming out with a new one,
Pardon?
right? I heard they're coming up with a new iPad Pro.
Yeah, like this year they already got the new one, so yeah, I think I'm going to try it at
Yeah,
some
that's
point
interesting.
because technology will change, you know.
Always.
Yeah, that's why I wanna try the new technology and stuff.
What are the characters' name? I don't name my characters. I don't even think this is a character. This is just a girl.
What are the
What?
characters' name? Someone's asked the
Yeah,
question.
yeah, I don't think mine has a name.
Yeah, me too. I just draw like a random mermaid.
You can adopt them
Haha.
and name them.
Yes. Well, it's cool. I like it. So yeah, I just move my brows like pretty lightly, you know. Yeah, it's almost look like watercolor, but at the same time it's not.
Yeah, yours look like when you pick up using watercolor, the pickup method.
Yeah, like I can show you like if I press it down hard, it will look like this, you know. It's super solid,
Yeah, yeah.
but because I'm not pressing it, and I just got like a blending of blue and brown here.
Blue and brown.
Yeah, it's almost like watercolor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. Like it. So no more question.
No, I think we just by
They
ourselves
they
now.
they just like law at
Hmm.
me.
Yeah. You're like, okay,
Okay, maybe
interesting.
maybe maybe we are better to be a comedian instead of being an artist, you know,
I don't know.
because they are just like laughing.
A bad comedian, maybe.
Yes, just be comedian instead of being an artist. Maybe we can get rich faster.
Oh, wait. What Netflix series are you on now?
Now, I just finished watching The Politician.
Ah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I don't watch anything else besides of that. Oh, street food, Latin America.
Um, I need to watch the Asian too. I haven't started.
Yeah,
Is it good?
like watching this kind of food video like make me wants to do traveling things, but we cannot do it right now because of the corona stuff. So it's like super sad.
Oops, where's my paper? Yeah, I have a lot of work to do, but I'm not in the mood of doing work. Okay, I'll name my character. Um, my character's name is Bob because she has a bob haircut.
I don't know my character's name though. Maybe you
Yours,
can you can suggest me like the name for the character. Lol.
uh, I wanted to say Humpy because like humpback whale, but Humpy sounds so bad.
No, you are pervert. Okay.
No, I didn't even realize that.
Oops, pervert.
Humpback whale.
Well, yeah, I really like humpback whale. It's like my favorite
Whale.
animal, I guess. Yeah,
Oh, really? Animal?
yeah. Ooh,
Oh,
fancy.
no. The funny thing about Procreate, right? I
Hmm.
find that the best pencil brush is not the pencil brush, but the inking brush.
Oh, okay. That's fun. That's funny. Like, oh, I always make my tools like like this.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
just
you
like
make it
make,
yourself?
yeah, and also I make the categories based on the project. So yeah,
Mm.
it's my for Pokemon sticker stuff. So I can do
Oh,
it
yeah,
like
yeah. I
easy.
remember you said that.
Yeah, so I can do like everything super easy with this kind of tool.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like after work you just only have like few hours to do something, you know.
Yeah. So it's faster.
Yeah, like you are tired and you don't want to think too much about it. So yeah, just like make my tools like really tidy and easy to use like this, you know.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I usually just use like two or three brushes, and I usually use like the default brush. But then uh, just making like a few tweaks sometimes helps a lot with like the effects.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, basically like this one also only few brushes,
Yeah.
but it's look like a lot because I put color on it. So it's
Mm.
like blue. When I want to put orange, it's become orange. So
Also,
it's,
your brush already has the color presets, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's easier to work with.
Yeah, it's faster too. You don't have to choose color.
Yeah, I don't have to think about it. Like, let's say I want to put like a bit of shadow on this character. I just like grab my multiply brush with blue color on it and just like, ha, yeah,
And then here, like, oh, where's my brush?
yes.
Oh no. Oh, the thing about the old iPad I hate is like the charging of the stylus.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the new one, you just put it on top of your iPad and that's it, right?
Yeah, it's so nice.
It's weird, but I can come back to it later.
It's looking good though. Okay, done. Let's try it half of that. Okay, this will be the after session if I ever upload this on YouTube.
Whoa, it looks like magic.
Okay.
Yeah, and also like if you know basic, like lighting,
Yeah,
like sculpting and stuff, like
it
it's
makes
really,
everything easier, right?
yeah, like now I just try to make the layer of the hair, as you can see here.
Yeah,
So you just like you sculpt it out
yeah,
from the
yeah. Because
darkness.
you have the 3D perception already. You understand the
Yeah,
spatial.
and I remember it looked like a paper, at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. It looked like a sheet
it
of
looks good.
paper. So I
And
just
it almost looks like corals too.
yeah, yeah. That's why I make like my mermaid series hair always look like this
Yeah,
because it's kind of remind you of the algae, the coral.
the kelp.
Yeah, so it's more distinct than other
Other
mermaid.
mermaids.
Yeah,
Yeah, because one guy created the mermaid look, and then everybody starts drawing mermaids after that.
yeah,
Or like pirates. One guy invented pirates. One guy invented Santa Claus, and then everybody starts drawing pirates and Santa Claus.
yeah. True, that's true. And do you have any kind of personal project now?
right now.
Yeah.
Um, I'm developing a graphic novel about the new normal, like a
Okay.
slice of life, but I haven't had the time to properly sit and develop the story.
Okay.
So maybe after this month, I'm
All
taking
right.
a break from work. September, I'm taking a break from work just to work on my
Okay.
personal project.
That sounds pretty fun. This will sound like a plan.
1 month of holiday. I can do it because my boss is really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm my boss.
Yeah, that's the thing of being like a freelance, like you can manage your time and you can
Yeah,
do anything you want for your life, basically.
but sometimes it's hard because like you also kind of like, oh, what if I don't get any more job? What if I turn this down and I don't get another one?
Yeah, yeah, right. Like when I was a freelancer, I remember like sometimes I don't have any money at all. Like I don't have any project at all. Like it's true. Like you become stressed of it.
Yeah, and you start like overworking yourself sometimes because you feel like you need to be productive too
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
your time
Yeah,
is money.
like you always work like all the time, like after dinner you work,
Yeah,
like you can work during the midnight,
I'm
etc.
trying to reverse that.
Yeah, but yeah, but like freelance and also a full time has like their own positive and negative things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, it's pretty nice. Turn out.
Oh yeah, do you do that? You do that too, right? Like sometimes you're drawing and you're like, oh, it's looking good, and then your friends are like, oh my god, why are you praising yourself? I'm like, it's looking good.
Yeah, like I don't know how I can do it again.
Yeah,
I don't know like this color. I know it's like very stupid question. Like you can pick the color up, but no, it's not working on another
illustrations, right?
illustration. Yeah, it's only work for this one.
Yeah, agree. That's why I always admire those people who like they use the same color palette for every single illustration, but they always work.
Yeah, true.
I'm like, I used it once and then I tried using it again and it looks bad now.
Yeah, right. So I think it's also your experience.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
And
sometimes,
personality, I guess.
I mean, like you're gonna do something different, like from project to project, right? So you will have another new knowledge about
Yeah,
new color scheme, new situation, lighting situation, new storyline that you must illustrate. So yeah, you will learn like by time, basically.
but I think for me it's more like um, sometimes like with book covers, for example, I know I get hired to do this one thing that they've seen before, and I know I can just do it, right? But
Hmm.
my personality is like, but if I do that, I feel like I'm losing, you know?
But why?
If I because I feel like if I'm just doing the same thing again, I feel like, oh no, I want to do something that's different but works just as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to be like, oh, okay, I'm comfortable. Let's just do it.
Hmm.
I feel defeated.